Welcome to On the Rise podcast. I'm Matt Ricker, here today with Victoria Bruno from the class of 2010. Victoria, welcome back to campus.
Thank you so much for having me, Matthew. It's such a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, I'm glad you're here as well. So, Victoria, you serve as the Business Development Manager at King's Capital Construction and Real Estate Specialist at XCap Realty. Very impressive title.
Thank you.
But let's start off with your Iona education. So, tell me a little bit about your Iona education. I understand you took a couple of years off between high school and college. So tell us about that.
I did. So my education, my 4 years here on campus was really amazing. And I know that that's really something that everyone says, but I truly mean it. I graduated from Iona in 2010. I did take 2 years in between high school graduation and college freshman year. That was really to help myself find myself. I always knew I had to go to school, but I didn't know what to do, and I didn't want to waste my parents' resources. So I worked locally. I even lived on my own for a little while. But when it was time to get serious, I took a tour at Iona and I just felt like I was at home. So I lived locally, but I still wanted to live on campus. And I really appreciated the experience because it was relationship driven. It wasn't a massive university. You know, I didn't feel like a number. That was really important to me. I was able to build my connections with professors and my classmates. You know, you could say hello in the corner or someone's always going to know you. But at the time, I didn't realize how important the network would really become. I'm still running into fellow Gaels all the time. Actually, Matthew, a fun fact, was my Gael guide when we first met many years ago. And, you know, whether it's the strong foundation or the value of relationships, my entire career really started here at campus.
Yeah, you know, you mentioned the fun fact. So I was thinking back to that today, and I think it was like 10 or 11 years ago that I actually started as a Gael guide when I was a second semester freshman. And it just flies by, you know?
It's amazing when I hear people call you Professor Richter, and you know, I just love it. And I'm always like, Matthew. So it's nice to see how, you know, with my growth has been others.
Yeah. So that actually leads me into my next point. Tell me a little bit about your career. As mentioned, you know, you started in, one of the positions you had over the course of your career was here at Iona as an admissions counselor. But you also worked at Viacom, TMPG, and Yellow Pages. So tell us about those.
Sure. So it is a little unconventional, my career path. But every stop along the way gave me the skills that I use today.
Absolutely.
As you mentioned, early on in my career, I worked at companies like TMPG Radio Promotions. Viacom is just a fancy name for MTV and MTV2, where I interned my junior year while I was on campus. And Yellow Pages, where I learned sales and marketing and client relationships in real time. You know, they taught me how to communicate with value and build trust and understand the business. I eventually worked as an admissions counselor at Iona, which was really rewarding because I was helping students make important life decisions. But I always had a strong interest in business development. So about a decade ago, I jumped into construction and real estate with King's Capital Construction. And that move really put my career trajectory high up, and it really opens a lot of doors that I absolutely love.
That's great. And now, what was your favorite part about being an Iona admissions counselor and working in admissions?
Working in admissions, I would say when I would do the initial introduction to parents and students who were visiting from high school, being able to present and literally say, this is where I've done this and this is where this gets done. And to have standing ovations sometimes was really an incredible feeling. I'm getting chills now just thinking back to it, actually, because I remember how important it was when I started here on campus. It really shaped my whole life.
Yeah.
So being able to do that to others was really a powerful growth.
Yeah, paying it forward.
Yes.
So you've been at King's Capital Construction for about 10 years. What is the key to longevity for one's career?
So it's been 10 years and a quarter, actually. Time flies when you're truly having fun.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Longevity in any career really comes down to two things: adaptability and relationships. Industries evolve, markets change,
Right.
and companies grow. So if you're willing to learn, take on new responsibilities, and always stay curious, you'll always find a way to stay relevant. Plus, you'll never get bored. And another piece is the relationships. Construction and real estate, they're relationship businesses. The trust you build with people, developers, attorneys, architects, engineers, municipalities especially, that's what keeps projects moving and opportunities coming. So for me, staying at King's for nearly a decade has been about growing with the company and constantly finding new ways to contribute. And not one day is boring because I'm constantly learning something new.
Yeah, I mean, I've been following you on LinkedIn for many years now, and it seems like you're always very active in your company, and you're always trying new things and starting all these initiatives, and so it's a really job well done, and it's very inspiring to see, as a fellow alum, and for the students that you mentor as well. So it's great that you've been so successful.
Thank you so much. It's actually really a dream come true, bringing Iona and King's and XCAP and all the other, industries under the King's umbrella. But it's like the two major communities that shaped who I am today.
Yeah.
To bring them together is just so beautiful. So I'm very excited.
It's great. You've been featured in Westchester Magazine as one of 22 women that are, quote, pushing the boundaries on what it means to lead and to serve. You've also been the winner of the 2023 West Fair Business Journal Millennial and Gen Z Award, as well as the Business Council of Westchester 2020 Rising Star 40 Under 40 Awards. That's very impressive.
Thank you. Mouthful.
But tell me about these, and how do you hope to inspire young women? I know you've been doing it already, but tell me about that.
Well, thank you so much. Honestly, being recognized by organizations like Westchester Magazine, West Fair Business Journal, and the Business Council of Westchester are incredibly meaningful. I always see those awards as a reflection of my team, though, and the community around me. No one succeeds in business alone. But if I can inspire young women in any way, it's by showing that you don't need to follow a perfectly straight career path to find success. Mm-hmm. Be curious, take risks, and don't be afraid to enter industries where you might not see many people like you at first. If you're willing to work hard and keep learning, there's always room for you at the table. You just have to bring your seat to it.
Right.
And ask questions, be curious, and be authentic. I think that's the biggest part of it. And if I can help the next generation, I'm happy to do it.
Yeah, that's great. So speaking of that, let's move on to mentorship. So what role has mentorship played in your career development? And how have you sought out mentors throughout your career journey? And then in addition, tell me about your most recent experience with Gael's Go Further. You've been a fabulous mentor to many of my students. So we appreciate that. But yeah, let's talk mentorship.
Sure. So sometimes I have that pinch me moment, and I'm also working through that imposter syndrome because it's so exciting to come full circle and be a mentor now. Mentorship has been huge for me. Throughout my career, I've been fortunate to learn from people who are willing to share their experience and their guidance, and that's both females and males. I've been very fortunate. So sometimes that mentorship is formal, like through the Gael Connect program, and sometimes it's informal. It's just conversations, advice, perspective you gain from people you've been going through similar challenges. But going through the Gael's Go Further mentorship, which has been so rewarding because I get to help the next generation, and I get to still, like, as I said earlier, you're a Gael guide for me too. So to see your own growth, not that I mentored in any way, but just to see your growth in your own career path. And hearing these students tell me, oh, Professor Ricker is always, so this and that, and it's so exciting. So any way that I could be part of the Gael community makes me happy. And I appreciate you for keeping me in mind all the time.
Oh, yeah. No, we're always happy to have you with, whether it's speaking at our career chats or, you spoke this morning to a real estate class. So it's all great ways to give back to the Iona community.
Well, really, it's the Gael community that gives back to us.
Yes.
When I plan these events on campus and I integrate both of the organizations, it's really because the Gael community wants it.
Yeah.
They're so interactive, they're so go-getters, and to us at King's and XCAP especially, it's very important. So it's a beautiful thing to have a Gael.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, and as more alumni, mentor each other, it's very inspiring to see, and it's also very rewarding on my part too when I see former students go on to get internships and jobs that they were hoping and dreaming for. So it's rewarding on my end of things too.
Yes, a shout out to Westchester Magazine for taking on one of our mentees. Tiffany is doing a fantastic job is what I hear. So very proud of her.
Yeah. And, we thank you for your assistance in helping her with that.
Absolutely. My pleasure. Westchester Magazine's the way to
go. So let's talk about your time at Iona. What sorts of things were you involved in? I know you were very involved with your sorority. So tell us about that.
So my time on campus was more involved than I ever thought it would be, right? I was in a sorority, yes, Delta Theta Beta. I started as a Gael guide as well. That was very exciting. Liz was our lady in red is what I called her. She ran the whole admissions department. But looking back, the only thing I would have changed is being more intentional.
Okay.
Meaning I would have reached out to more alumni while I was on campus. I would have asked professors, who do you know and what do you think? Things like that. Because you really do find a Gael wherever you go, whether it's in a law office or an engineering office or a municipality. It's really amazing. But, those lessons, they eventually come and they play a big role in your career, in my career especially. But I had the chance to intern with MTV my junior year, and that was an incredible experience because that was back in 2008, 2009 when the world was really going through it at the time. So we would take news reports from overseas and transcribe them for the American community, which is really the beginning of the whole blogging experience. So it's interesting to see how that came. I was homecoming princess, which was really a shocker. I did not expect that. But going back to the sorority, the girls and I never thought I would be in a sorority. We would say we're not the sorority type, but the friendships ended up shaping my life in ways I've never expected. And most of those women are still a part of my life today. And it's been a huge, huge impact on my career and my journey in life.
Yeah, that's great. And the fact that these Iona friendships have flourished, have continued through the years is inspiring too to see and a great feeling. And what you were saying before about Iona being so popular, I get it all the time. Like if I'm in Grand Central and I'm wearing an Iona cap or a sweatshirt, there's a high likelihood of me getting stopped by somebody and saying like, oh, I went to Iona, or I know someone that went to Iona, or I have a family member, or I used to work at Iona.
Right.
Like it's a small but it's a large alumni population of over 50,000 alums. So
it's amazing.
And now that we're growing, we've been growing the past few years from a college to a university. It's only going to get bigger.
Yes, and also the other campuses, which is very exciting.
Bronxville.
And even, shout out to my aunts and my uncles will always say, like, North Avenue in the 80s. But to even see the growth of campus itself, right? Yeah. So it's I come back every couple of months just to walk it.
That's
So I
great.
encourage everyone else to do so too.
All right, so let's end with some content recommendation. Are there any books, movies, podcasts that you would recommend to others?
Yes. So, okay, I know I'm on a podcast and this is probably like sacrilege, but because I can't interact, right, with the podcasters in real time, I do enjoy books the most. And I have to give you these 3 books that have shaped my life in the best ways. So I'm always consuming content. I also run a lot of the social media for the businesses, and I'm always trying to learn new things and how to be more creative. But what shaped me, and in this order, I have to be honest with you, the books are The Secret by Rhonda Byrne, The Alchemist, and now I apologize if I mispronounced the author's name, but it's Paulo Coelho, and Let Them by Mel Robbins. So The Secret really introduced me to the idea that mindset and energy you put into the world can influence what comes back to you. And it's true. See how many times you hit a green light when you say green, 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 green. The Alchemist is one of those timeless books that remind you to trust your journey and follow the path, that everything is written and it's meant for you. Even when it's not always the most obvious one, you will find your treasure. Just keep on keeping on. And Let Them is a newer one for me, but the concept is so powerful. Sometimes the best thing you can do in life and business is simply let people show you who they are and not try to control everything. Between books like these and real-life conversations with mentors and people in real estate and construction, I've learned that growth really comes down to mindset, persistence, and surrounding yourself with the right people. More than anything, though, I recommend learning directly from people in your industry. You never know what a handshake will lead to. I used to disregard a handshake from, a doctor or someone I didn't think would have a project. But guess what? That doctor might have a friend who needs a build out of their new medical space. So really, never disregard a conversation, ask questions, go to events, and surround yourself with people who are always doing the work. Real world conversations can sometimes teach you more than any book.
Yep. No, and that's great advice and recommendations. I mean, I tell students all the time that, like, go to networking events. Like, even if it's like a topic that you're really not sure that you'd be interested in, who cares? Like, just go. You never know who you might meet. You never know. There might be other alum there, and you never know where that conversation or those conversations could lead to. I mean, you could meet someone who works in finance, and maybe the student is not into finance, but they're into marketing, and they have a coworker or they have a colleague at another company that does marketing. And then that flourishes into a mentoring or mentorship and a relationship that way, So
that is an excellent point, Matthew, because when I was here at Iona, I studied marketing and advertising, and really I interned at MTV because I thought that I wanted to be in this city and working on commercials. I am utilizing my degree at 100% in construction and in real estate, and I never thought I could do that.
Yeah.
The relationship building, and one thing I really want to encourage students especially to do is to walk up to people and just say, "Hi, my name is."
Yeah.
Because that is the way in the door. Once you show initiative and you're willing to learn new things, to your point, it could lead to so many different things. So yes, I encourage that as well, because real estate and construction are relationship businesses. The deals follow the trust.
Yeah. And what would be some advice that you would have for students who want to go to networking events, but maybe they're intimidating, they don't know how to break the ice? What would you say to that?
So even the most outspoken people like myself can be a little intimidated, especially when I'm walking into a room with people of a different generation that are in suits that might have, $1 million in their pocket. Yes, it could be very intimidating, but you have to remember they're just regular people.
Exactly.
And most people that are at these networking events want to be there to help themselves, of course, but mostly to help other people because they're there for business as well. So what I encourage you to do is just build up a little courage, step out of your comfort zone. You're a Gael, you can do it. And just say, hi, my name is.
Yeah.
And one little bit of advice, if I could,
Sure.
stay close to people who are building things, building companies, building projects, communities. That's where you learn the most, and that's where the opportunity really tends to come from.
Great advice. Great way to end. So, Victoria, thank you very much for joining us today. And I'm so glad that, you're back on campus and you are giving back to our students. We sincerely appreciate that. And I look forward to seeing you again on campus soon.
Me too. It's my pleasure, Matthew. I want to thank you again. And
for
everyone to just give King's Capital a follow. LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook.
All right. Well, thank you again. And that is On the Rise podcast. I'm Matt Ricker. We'll see you next time. Have a good one.